Very nice. So we know that Fartley was the person that summoned me here. And part of her plan involved getting newcomers by, like, drawing them to this location or something. That's pretty cool. Oh, the backer reward items must be that the... one of the Kickstarter goals must have been, like, you get to place a random item in the game. Okay. 1. Seed pair. Find planets with similar atmospheres. Swap. Tree from seed. Heart connected path open when mature. Heart superposition. 4 species meet. Earth is that one. So Earth. Sophia is a Mofang. Interesting. Really cool stuff, actually. And I'm gonna do one more thing real quick. Turn off the game volume just a touch in the game itself. Yeah, it's a game that's like both really soft and really loud, so it is really hard to like balance the audio for it. All right, so she changed her message to welcome, and that's really sad that like no one's here. I just felt a twinge of, I don't know, emotion. I'm not a big fan, but oh well, can deal with it. Cool, so we have a couple of, like, what appear to be children's drawings. And I guess there probably was a child here at some point. Either that or Farley was a much less mature person than I was led to believe. At any rate, we have a couple more interesting things of note. We have this diagram. It's like 15, and then boop, 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 ba. Let's take a picture this time, so I can remember this for later. And let's look at some Scrapple notes here. Oh yeah, I can totally read this. The entire landmass outside of a circle of desert could only be described as alien. Large floating rocks could be seen in the seen on the distance. No one had ever seen anything like it anywhere on Earth. We fully explored our new surroundings, hoping to find a way home. No way home was ever found. In fact, we soon discovered what we take for granted now. Not only could we not get back home, we also could not access the landscape outside the desert. Curiously, we discovered that a flow of water was provided from a high point of rock, and we discovered a small tree growing in the very center of the circle. Our central tree that is so important to our lives here was just a mere sapling back then. Holy shit, that's impossible to read. That is so hard to read. Alright, we have more logbooks of like, seed information. It's too bloomy. I can't read this. Like, it's just this pure white. Oh, well. We take communication for granted with very neighbors from Hunrath, when we suddenly find ourselves amongst intelligent species. Don't share culture, DNA, or vocal cords requires a huge amount of effort. The Mofang. Oh, this is useful. The Mofang were the first non-humans we met, with at least some level of similar physical vocal generating abilities. They picked up human words quickly. Their subtle mimicry resulted in what the species came to be called. Even though they were able to mimic single words and simple phrases, it became evident over the years that huge grammatical differences were not easily overcome. Some have proposed the difficulty may have arisen because the Mofang insisted on attempting to learn every human language. That's pretty funny. As a result, we're never able to lock in any consistent grammatical structure. Nevertheless, despite it's been very easy to communicate. Villain? The Villain have presented a particular communication challenge where they provide sounds using 2 large reed-like structures inside opposite sides of their head. The vibrations generated are resonant chambers in their skulls. Low-frequency bitonal sounds are not only hard for humans to hear and resolve, but impossible for us to mimic. The Villain's hearing is oriented towards low frequencies, so they're unable to hear most of the speech associated with human speech. Rely on technology, except to consoles. Cool. Some high-frequency characteristics of certain keywords over the years. If you'd like to learn more about the communication with the Villain, please contact Philae. And the Arai. This features a variety of morphology of any vocalization apparatus because of the obvious synchronization of the barnacle flash and the ability of the pawns to provide for and address the needs of the polyarchs. It was assumed that the species could not communicate effectively. It's not until Fartley began to spend large amounts of time on the polyarch antechamber that the first clues to this communication became evident. After months of research, Fartley began to have limited success with receiving some kind of simple messages that were coming from the polyarchs. It's apparent now the polyarchs have been attempting to communicate the entire time. Experiment with various channels if they got it. Both the polyarchs and the pawn have a simple organ, but over the years, Fartley was able to speak to the polyarchs. Neato? Oh, come on. I'm not reading that one. Well, hold on. Wasn't there a big thing that... What? If I block it... Oh, how is that... shadow... How's that ring being projected? Like, I don't know physics well enough to understand, like, what's happening here. But shouldn't it be the case that, like, the ring should be darker? Unless it's, like, the ring is physically written on the lens or something like that. Right? Oh. This must be the location of all the Moffat, devices. So we used to get along with the Moffats, I guess. And now we don't anymore? Okay, so I can rotate this thing around. If I do something like this, what do I see? Well, it lines up, but I have no idea what it means. Does this point at any other structures in the area? In a way that seems meaningful, anyway. Well, we have 2 projectors, and that's about it. Oh, that's pretty fascinating stuff. Alright, also, shouldn't you be able to see nothing if you're standing in front of the beam? Oh, okay. I see. So the slides are just, there to provide... this is already written, or drawn on here, or whatever. And here's where I can see all the teleportation areas. So I was here. This goes to the scrapyard. That's how I get into the scrapyard. And then above the waterfall is how I get to that one. Cool. Okay, so it is all diametrically opposed, so that's how I get into the scrapyard.